Hello, this is Eileen, the environmental educator, and it's Friday. And what we have today is really, it's not so funny. Friday funny. It just really right here is not funny. And what we're talking about is someone that's coming up with a really wrong idea that if it's not stopped and if this person's in the position to implement it, it's just very wrong for a lot of reasons, which we're going to discuss. And so, what do you do in the world? Oh, that's right. You do the right thing, or you're supposed to. And you should, especially when you are the man of honor today, Mr. Sainthood himself, Bobby Kennedy. Yeah, right here. Let's listen to Bobby on legalization.
What currently illegal drugs would you legalize?
I would decriminalize marijuana on a federal basis and allow the states to regulate it. And I would have a federal tax on it, though, and I would apply that tax to building rehabilitation centers around the country and providing people, drug rehabilitation.
What about psychedelics?
Whoa, isn't that so nice of him? Okay, he's not going to legalize it. He's just going to decriminalize it and tax it. Now, the last time I checked, which is just about every day, you hear the news, Americans are strapped beyond strapped. Just what you need is another tax, okay, for your government to allow you to use a plant. Now, I live in Montana right now, and they legalized a couple years ago. And I was, just out and about one day walking down the street, and some guy was trying to get me to sign a petition to get it on the ballot. And I was like, no way. And he's like, don't you want to see it legalized? I'm like, I'm not even talking about that, but you are offering a 20% tax. You are volunteering to be coerced. Like, you're just, okay, government, please, 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 oh my God, please, almighty government, if you let us use a plan, we'll give you 20%. And that's what the tax is in Montana. Now, they don't have sales tax in Montana. The income tax, well, especially for somebody like me who makes no money, is pretty reasonable. And no sales tax, but I don't know about alcohol because I don't drink, but yep, a 20% tax on marijuana. And then a lot, and probably all will, a lot of counties have then imposed a 3% tax. So that's 23% tax to buy marijuana. And now Bobby Kennedy wants to put a federal tax on it. For how much? I mean, what does Bobby want? What's his fair take of your hard-earned money? Like, you don't pay enough taxes. 10%, 20%? So you could be paying 43% tax because the government is so good to you that they're gonna let you use a plant. And then, he's such a good guy. He's doing this for, I'll use it for rehab. You know what that means? Means more government workers, more bureaucracy, more waste and abuse. Okay. It's all not needed. Is alcohol taxed? Does that go to rehab for drunks? Are prescription drugs taxed? Does that go to rehab for everybody who gets addicted to prescription drugs? Especially prescription drugs. How many people get addicted to that? No one gets addicted to marijuana. This tax will not be spent on one single person addicted to marijuana. And then very little of it will be spent on, programs for people that are addicted to more very serious substances like, prescriptions. Okay, or they're alcoholics, but it is not the burden of any American to, pay the financial consequences of somebody's decisions, of letting themselves become hooked. Okay, it's a decision. And that's not anybody else's financial responsibility. So this, Bobby used to be a heroin addict. I mean, he's talked about it, but it's not your responsibility. And nobody gets addicted to marijuana. But Bobby wants to tax you tapped out Americans who can't even put gas in their car these days, who can't even put food on their table, wants to tax you. And so right here's experienced Milwaukee family attorneys. Now, this isn't someone that you'd really expect to be with a page about legalization versus decriminalization. Maybe you'd expect Hunter's lawyer that was just, taking bong hits out on his balcony before Hunter went to court. I mean, not the day he went to court, but like over the weekend or something. It got a lot of press. But so it says, there's been a lot of debate surrounding legalization, and it says, while the debate about legalization and decriminalization forges ahead, the terms are often mistakenly used interchangeably. However, there is more than just a semantic difference between the two. Legislation would mean that anyone may possess or use the drug according to the guidelines and limitations governing marijuana use. Typically, these guidelines will be codified by a state statute that will state the amount of marijuana an individual can possess. If marijuana is legalized in a particular state, individuals using marijuana as allowed under state law will not face any criminal charges because they will not be engaging in any illegal activity. Decriminalizing marijuana would mean that individuals can use the drug with impunity. Instead, decriminalization simply means that individuals possessing or using marijuana will be subject to punishment in the form of a fine rather than a jail sentence. In other words, marijuana will not result in a criminal record and possible jail time, but it will result in a fine. So you'll get a ticket, and now not only are you paying Bobby's federal tax, you're going to get a fine that you can pay some other government body. Is that really doing you a favor? Honestly, seriously? Is that doing you or America any good? Nope. And did he mention anything about hemp? And you know what? It's been legalized. Thank God Trump did that. But now we really need to lead the world with it. No. He could have thrown that in there, but Bobby doesn't care. And Bobby doesn't care about your finances. He wants to tax you to death and create more government bureaucratic jobs. I mean, it's reported lately that the average federal worker gets like 50 paid days off a year. And I mean, they have the golden benefits package, and then they have a pension for life. Do you have any of that in your job? No, but that's what those fines will go for federal, county, state, and even town workers who all have all of those benefits. If you don't, but Bobby's going to bleed you. He's going to bleed you financially. So right here, this is Politico, and Bobby reversed himself on an abortion issue, and his campaign said, Mr. Kennedy. Like, are they so, like, not chummy with each other, working in the office that they call each other Mr. Kennedy? Everybody's got to be a title to make themselves sound important. You know what I mean? National public servant is what needs to be on this man's desk if he ever becomes a public servant, and every public servant with him too. All these titles, right? But this was August 13, 2023. And so, they said that Bobby misunderstood the question. So maybe Bobby right now, listening to these same fools who are, have gotten Bobby's absolutely valueless in comparison to what he won't do environmental agenda, they're maybe, feeding him this idea too. But what Bobby wants to do is tax you because you, the American, are just rolling in dough. This is what your house looks like, right? You are just being like the government, printing it off the presses and having it fly everywhere in stacks and stacks and stacks of it. You know, I heard, who was that, big Mexican drug guy, Escobar or something maybe? He used to go through $10,000 worth of rubber bands just to bind together all of his cash every month. Okay, but is this you? Do you really have money to get more taxes put on you because your government is doing you a favor? Do you really have fines? Do you really have money in your household budget so that if you get caught with it, then you're fined? You better play this fine. Otherwise, it'll be trouble. Okay? Bobby Kennedy's not doing you any favors. That's why today we are doing this not so funny and you're wrong. And hey, Bobby, how about doing the right thing and doing the right thing environmentally too? You can see all my videos about that because Americans aren't rolling in dough. So stay tuned, people.